When the Matrix is on the verge of collapsing due to the accumulation of human choices in the equation and the subsequent emergence of the anomaly, who installs the anomaly's code in a human, and how? Does each Smith clone gain the ability of the programs he assimilates, or is each ability exclusive to the assimilated clone? How does the bodies of the red pills appear in the Matrix after connecting to the simulation? Thanks to our subscribers, there is no shortage of unanswered questions, so please continue to ask as many questions as possible. Welcome to Matrix Explained.
Welcome to the desert of the real.
Our first question comes from subscriber Adamant. When Smith assimilates someone, does every clone gain their ability from him, or only the clone used to assimilate? This is an interesting question because there is evidence pointing to both sides. In some cases, it seems that the Smith clones have their individuality. In others, it looks like they act as a legion. In Matrix Reloaded, Smith speaks of himself in the plural.
This purpose that created us, purpose that connects us, purpose that pulls us, that guides us, that drives us. It is purpose that defines, purpose that binds us.
We are here because of you, Mr. Anderson. We're here to take from you what you tried to take from us.
Smith talks as if each clone has their own identity, yet they all work together towards the same goal. In Revolutions, the Oracle teaches Sati how to make cookies and reveals her secret ingredient.
Cookies need love like everything does.
Later, when the Smiths arrive at the Oracle's home, one of the clones repeats the secret ingredient.
Cookies need love like everything does.
The film script describes that Smith is the assimilated Sati. Another piece of evidence that each clone is an individual was when Smith assimilated Neo. After the assimilation was complete, Smith asked the new clone a question.
Is it over?
The Smith whom Neo fights in the climactic battle is the assimilated Oracle, explaining his comments about how he foresaw the end.
Wait. I've seen this. This is it. This is the end.
Now, the evidence that suggests that the Smith clones function as a collective is when they were destroyed. After Neo was assimilated, all the Smiths were destroyed nearly instantaneously and simultaneously, meaning that they were all in fact connected. However, being that it was the Smith Oracle alone who faced Neo, could indicate that the clones who assimilate programs do acquire their abilities, but the abilities are not shared amongst all the clones. Assimilating the Oracle made that Smith the most powerful clone of them all. That, and combined with the anomaly's code, Neo didn't have a chance of winning on his own. In conclusion, when a Smith assimilates a program, only that Smith gains its abilities. However, all Smiths are still connected to each other, sharing the agent's personality, memories, and goals. The next question comes from Michael Cervantes. If the Oracle's cookie made Neo the One, then where did she get the code from here? Did it take the first 5 people brought by Morpheus to get it right? So Morpheus originally failed in finding the One multiple times before, 5 to be exact. Yet his failures were not the fault of the Oracle, they were his own. Morpheus's desperation to find the savior of humanity. The Oracle knew that Neo was the One since before she met him. She had been preparing for Neo's arrival for a long time. For example, long before Neo was found, the Oracle told the Red Pill Ghost that Trinity would never love him the same way he loved her. She was removing all obstacles that could get in the way of Trinity falling in love with Neo.
You asked me one question. If she would ever love you. I told you only as a friend, as her brother.
The Oracle convinced Trinity that she would fall in love with the One, and told Neo that Trinity liked him. Another clue is when the architect told Neo that his life was the sum of events that led him to that point. As he said this, all the little TVs in the room showed Neo's life, from his childhood to adulthood, meaning that the architect has had his eye on him since birth. So we believe that the architect and the Oracle were working together to turn Thomas Anderson into the anomaly, and it is the Oracle who possibly downloads, adapts, and installs the code into the human. But where does the code come from? From the machine mainframe. When the sum of all human choices is about to collapse the system, the Oracle retrieves the code and deposits it in a human host. And our last question comes from Old Man Jenkins 771. The red pills, after entering the Matrix, where do their bodies come from? Do they just appear? The Matrix works like a video game. The operators choose a safe place where the red pills can enter and exit. We assume that when the red pills appear in the simulation, they will visibly look the same as they do in the real world. The first thing they see is the Matrix code. Then the residual self-image materializes until the red pill spawns in the Matrix. But how does the simulation know what the human's RSI would look like? It can be assumed that the RSI isn't a program that exists within the Matrix, but rather within the human. It's their self-image being projected into the simulation. Think of it as looking into a mirror. We believe that each red pill's RSI is stored within their mechanical implants. They carry this virtual version of themselves, and it will change as their physical bodies change over time. One's self-image is literally turned into code and is stored in a hard drive. And that is what becomes your avatar, so to speak, inside the Matrix and the construct. However, the story of the Matrix Online tells of how Neo's RSI was shattered into fragments and scattered throughout the simulation, so it is possible to separate a human from its residual self-image. But do you agree? Did the Oracle take the anomaly's code from the machine mainframe and installed it into Neo during their first meeting? Or did the architect install it into Neo before he was born? Do all Smith's clones share their stolen abilities from the programs they assimilated? Can a red pill change how they look in the real world inside the Matrix? Leave in the comments what other questions you would like us to answer. For Matrix Explained, please leave a like and subscribe. And thank you for visiting the Desert of the Real.